hear from multiple people overhearing guest interactions from Avengers Campus, and a lot of it's just, "Hey, I'm hungry and thirsty. How do I get food here?" And it's like, "Well, you got a mobile order. Okay, well, why do I have to mobile order just to get food? I'm just, I just can't just walk up to the bar and have it served, to me like the good old days." And it's like, no, we have to go through these asinine processes that apparently Ken Potrock is like, "Oh, we've been working on this for a year. The whole shutdown, we've been really getting our digital infrastructure up." It's like, no, you haven't. Like, that's an outright bold-faced lie. Right. You had problems, with the Touch Disney selling out. You had problems with the servers crashing for when tickets actually went online. You've had all of these continual, consistent problems with your processing. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm sorry, you just leave money on the table, and you're really you're diminishing the guest experience greatly, way more than it has to be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're absolutely correct, Vash. You're absolutely correct. There's no excuse for people to have to like sit there and like beg, like try to desperately trying to find something on the app to eat. And that's the thing too, is like, this is the one thing I used to love about Disneyland Resort. I love the aspect. And each resort is different. Each resort has a different demographic. Each resort has a different thing and a different culture and a different whatever. But the one thing I loved about Disneyland Resort is the ability to have a spontaneous trip, which has completely been obliviated in Florida. You can't do a spontaneous anything in Florida. Yeah. And I like that we still had that. You can do that spontaneousness. And they're slowly turning us, or maybe even quickly now, into Florida, where everything is pre-planned in advance. You can't just, hey, you know what? I feel like going on Indiana Jones. Hey, you know what? Let's go. You can't do that anymore. Everything is planned, down to what you want to eat. You got to figure out what you want to eat 3 hours in advance. It's nonsense.
It's so unfortunate because, I mean, you just remember what it was like before the shutdown. Yeah. And you just like, man, I mean, when is the next opportunity we're going to get closer to there? And you hear Ken Potrock and Bob Chapek talk about legacy, talk about, we've streamlined our processing. We've added, these virtual queues and make managing these things better. Ken Potrock's talking about how they're going to add more of these things. And it's like, this is one of the worst aspects of the experience going to Disneyland Resort in 2021, bar none, hands down. I mean, how do you even explain to people? I mean, I think we've had discussions about it. Oh, well, okay. So if you go to Disneyland Resort, first thing you want to do, okay, you might want to go ahead and make your parking, reserve your parking in advance, pay that $25 fee, in advance when you're checking out. Oh, you got to make reservations now. You got to have the reservation window. You got to buy the right ticket to match up with those reservation days. You got to, as soon as you walk in, you got to make your mobile order. Make sure you make your mobile order before you walk in, because you might not have food locations on the other side. Now, hopefully, before you even got there at 7 a.m., remember, you're going to have either Rise of Resistance or Spider-Man. You might want to pick those because they go out instantaneously, so pick those fast. Yeah. And then when you actually get in, if you want to go on Jones that day, you can go ahead and make a virtual queue and all that. And how do you explain all this to people? And
overwhelming.
Yeah, we cover the parks on a daily basis. We're into it. I've been doing this for 15 years. Like, I'm a veteran, okay, and it's hard for me to keep up. And I hear stories of families coming in there. It's like, I don't know what to do. Like,
yeah.
What? Like, how do I even do any of this? I'm sorry. If I wanted to ride Spider-Man, I had to do what at 7 a.m.? And now I might not even, get a chance to, even though I'm in the park right now. I don't know how you explain this to people. I don't know how. I mean, this information is not even close to digestible, and you have to do so much of it. It's insane. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Part of the fun of a Disney day is like, look, there are certain things I like to plan. I mean, but there's a lot of it is just kind of going with the flow. You're walking, hey, look, there's corn dogs. Cool, let's get a corn dog. A lot of it is just spontaneous, though. And they're taking every one of those spontaneous moments and systematically removing them, where you pretty much have your entire day planned out via the app.
Yeah.
So you better feel like a corn dog at $12.25 because that's what you're getting at $12.25.
Well, and if you wanted a corn dog at $12.25 and $12.25 rolls around and you haven't bought that corn dog 4 hours in advance, you're not gonna get that corn dog. And it's just like you're making it not only just much more difficult with a clientele that's far more casual than you think it is.
Right.
But you're also losing money in the process. Like, it's not even helping you make money. It's actually hindering you tenfold, because if you were just to have standby lines at Bengal Barbecue or Plaza Inn, if you were just to have standby lines and no mobile ordering, you could probably turn out way more tables, way more orders than they are right now. And it's just, they're completely hindered. I mean, it's like, okay, I'm already kneecapped. Let me go ahead and take the rest of my legs off while I'm at it. It's like, why are you doing this? You don't need to do this.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And there's so much demand.
I didn't even go. I'm frustrated on behalf of you. Go ahead.
Well, there's so much demand for the food, and for them not open places. Like you said, the Pizza Port, like you said, like the Zorro Mexican restaurant in Frontierland, just open them up. They would do buco business. I mean, we probably would have eaten at one of those places if they were open.
Yeah.
We're begging for something just to eat. And we probably would have eaten at one of those. And they're not open. They're not even an option.
And some of it's not their fault. But when you're already hindered and when you can only control so much, and you make it your fault, and you make it worse for yourself, I'm sorry, I'm going to have less sympathy for you. I just am.
Yeah.
It's just really frustrating. Did you notice other parts of the operation that kind of made you frustrated in that? We talked about Indiana Jones, and my kind of whole thing is the virtual queue system in there puts a kind of an added emphasis on that attraction, in that, well, people were kind of like, maybe I wasn't going to go on Indiana Jones that, today or this day or whatever, but because it's potentially taken away from me, I'm going to make a reservation whether I go there or not, or a virtual queue whether I go there or not, because I at least want to have the option to go there that day. Do you notice any of that?
Oh, that's interesting. And I mean, personally, I didn't notice that, but that makes a lot of sense where people want to kind of reserve that spot in case. And then there's no, as far as I know, and maybe I'm wrong on this, please correct me if I am, but there's no, like, what's the word? I don't want to say punishment. That sounds really hard and terrible, but like, is there any kind of like penalty, right, for like making a reservation and backing out on it? Because that's what's going to happen is people are just going to make these reservations, whether they need them or not, just in case, and then back out. But if there's no penalty, there's no reason for them to
Yep. So you could potentially be, and I'm sure this happens a lot.
Right.
You could be potentially, and from what I understand, this happened with food too, with Ventures Campus, because you had to like, initially you had to get the food and then wait, in the standby to get into Adventures Campus before you can actually pick up your food. Hopefully you timed that right. Anyway, it gets complicated, but if you didn't show up, well, now you just took that food opportunity or that virtual queue opportunity for Indiana Jones away from somebody else who would have gladly gone to that attraction, but because you just wanted to keep all options open, that's what you do.
Right, exactly. I'm sure that Vash, I bet you that happens a lot, and that's a shame, because there's a lot of people that visit. Look, I've been to Disneyland over 1,000 times. I grew up in Southern California. I had an annual pass since like 2002. If I don't make it on Indiana Jones, not the end of the world for me. I can come back next week or whatever, in a month, But a lot of families aren't that fortunate. A lot of families, they're coming from Sweden. They're coming from Japan. They're coming from Germany or wherever. And this is their once in a lifetime trip where they can experience this park, and you're holding it up as a placemaker spot because you might feel like it that day or not. It's so messed up. It's so messed up.
It is. And I just, there's changes to the Disneyland experience that are happening right now. It's like, man, it makes me nervous because a lot of this stuff doesn't look temporary. They're investing a lot of money in this, but they're bumbling the execution in so many different places. It's like, hopefully it changes, but I don't know. I guess we'll see.